Now, I got to say, if MSNBC is going to tell us, which is going to be crazy, that Amber Heard is the real victim and Johnny Depp is the abuser. This is, they walked the line of defamation pretty good, but that's what they're going to tell us. Let's listen to what they got to say. Check this out.
Remember the phrase from the Me Too movement, believe women? It's a powerful phrase because for so long, the opposite was actually true. Women who alleged sexual assault or harassment were not believed. Me Too shifted that narrative. Just last year, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo resigned after multiple women accused him of sexual misconduct because many people believe the women. But now the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial is raising the question of how much has really changed. Depp is suing his ex-wife, Heard, over an opinion piece in which she describes surviving sexual violence without mentioning the actor by name. She countersued, and the jury is considering both lawsuits. But in this case of allegations against a man, as Michelle Goldberg writes in the New York Times, there has been a, quote, explosion of hatred and derision toward the woman. Goldberg adds that, quote, there seems to be a broader misogynist frenzy at work, one characteristic of the deeply reactionary moment we're living through. Michelle Goldberg joins us now. She's an op-ed columnist.
So let's just talk about that opening. So they've changed things up a little bit, right? Before it was believe all women. And that was, and just so we can go back in the timeline a little bit. Before you had I think the Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein effect, where they were the gatekeepers to get into Hollywood, right? So if you wanted to get into a movie, you had to go to the casting couch. So we even had jokes about the casting couch with Harvey Weinstein. And women who would say like, hey, he did this to me. The issue would be that, hey, he did this to me, but if you said it or said anything, you might lose your job. You were out of Hollywood, right? That's what happened. That was the power of Harvey Weinstein. So then you had one woman come up, two women come up, and then it became this mass. So look at Bill Cosby. You had like 3 or 4 people. Then you had, 40 people come up. And just the sheer amount of women who are coming up saying this happened to me, even the bravery of a lot of women who are afraid that their careers will be challenged would come out and say, oh, this happened to me. And then you'd have this mass of like, okay, we're going to believe 40 people who are saying the exact same thing happened to them, or we're going to believe Bill Cosby, right? Are we going to believe all these women who say this happened with Harvey Weinstein? So we're going to believe them. But then when it comes down to the one-on-one situation, right? One woman versus one man, and then she's saying something and he's saying something. Then who should we believe, right? You have one woman, one man. Who should we believe? Now, generally, the way we break that tie is the evidence, right? Do you have any evidence that something happened? Because we know that people lie. But that's where the believe all women thing, I think, went left, is that it said, we're going to presumptively not believe men and presumptively believe women. And I think that was the issue, that because it shouldn't be based on gender. We should be believing facts and evidence. And that's where the believe all women went wrong. And that's what they're trying to spin now. So that's their setup. So their setup is this is going to hurt believing all women, right? But now they've changed it from believe all women to hashtag believe women. So you just got to understand the spin.
For the New York Times. So Michelle, I loved your piece. So many important points.
Thank you.
What do you mean that there is a misogynistic frenzy at work which reflects the reactionary time we're living through?
Now, you know what? I like how they call it a misogynistic frenzy. Most of the women who believe Johnny Depp, most of the people who believe Johnny Depp happen to be women, right? If you look at my analytics, before the Johnny Depp case, my subscriber base was something like, people who watch my videos was something like 90% men. After Johnny Depp, it's like 50-50. Literally 50-50. It's changed a whole bunch of. And when I went over to Legal Bite Stream, who was like, hers is like 70% women. All those women inside here believe Johnny Depp, right? So this is not a gender-based thing. And that's what they're trying to make it into a men versus women thing, or women versus men, but it's not. This is a facts and evidence thing versus lies. That's what this thing is about.
I would say, first of all, if you really dive into the evidence of this case, and we can't know for sure what happened, there is an element of he said, she said, but there are also some facts that have come to light. This was already litigated in a British courtroom. Johnny Depp sued a British paper for libel after it called him a wife beater. It's much easier to sue for libel in England, but because the burden of proof is on the defense, but a court evaluated these charges very carefully, and I suggest people read the British document.
Now, this is one thing I do hate about the spin. So, we have a court in the UK where it's easier for someone to win defamation, and Johnny Depp lost. And then we have a court in America where we said, okay, well, he was defamed and Johnny Depp went. But what were the major differences in those two cases? Well, one was televised for all to see. You got to see all the evidence, you got to see all the testimony, you got to see everything. UK, not so much. And in the UK case, it wasn't suing Amber Heard, they were suing the Sun for saying something. And the Sun was like, well, based on what this woman is saying, right, Amber Heard, based on what she's saying, we are reporting this. So if you think about it, the Sun's not saying Johnny's a wife beater because they just made it up. They're saying he's a wife beater because Amber Heard has come forward and said he's a wife beater. She got a restraining order. We see the bruise on her face, right? That's all we needed to say. Johnny Depp's a wife beater, right? And the judge looked at it and said, okay, well, it's substantially true. She's saying it, yeah. But the problem is that in the UK case, Amber Heard's stuff wasn't tested. So she can get up there, lie, say whatever, and then she's gone. But in the US, you got to get your ass up there and you got to tell your story and you're going to be challenged. And she was challenged and you saw the whole house of cards fall apart. So what they're doing is trying to make it seem like the case in the UK is somehow stronger than the case in the United States where it's harder to win. And you get more evidence in. And everybody was able to see it. That's what they're trying to sell to you now, right? That's what they're trying to sell to you. The UK trial was the trial that we should all trust. And the trial here in America, where we all live, we should just disregard and believe it was unfair in some way.
From that case and came to the conclusion that what the paper said was substantially true. So point by point, you could go through all the evidence, but either this was a case of what one expert called mutual abuse, or Amber Heard was the primary victim. There's sort of no other gloss.
Did you guys just hear that? Did you guys just hear what she just said? Either it was mutual abuse, meaning Johnny is either the abuser, or Amber Heard is the victim. That's what MSNBC is telling their audience. Either Johnny Depp was the abuser, or Amber Heard was the victim. Let's hear it again. Just so you guys can hear what they're trying to sell in this coded language. Listen to it.
Point by point, you could go through all the evidence, but either this was a case of what one expert called mutual abuse, or Amber Heard was the primary victim. There's sort of no other gloss on the facts of this case.
So either it was mutual abuse, meaning Johnny was the abuser, or Amber was the victim. There's no other way to think about it. You know what the sad part about this is? Think about this. Think about if somebody accuses you of something that you didn't do. Then you go to court and you open up your life, right? You show all the evidence, right? Here's all the lies, right? And a jury believes you, the public believes you, everybody sees the evidence, and everybody with a half a brain believes it, right? Says, okay, yeah, it's obvious, right? The evidence doesn't support what she's saying. And then to hear someone say this, right? Either you're the abuser or she's the victim. Really? Like, this isn't news. This isn't even close to news. This is real. It's almost embarrassing, because God forbid, think about this. If you didn't watch the trial and this is your source of news, how would you feel about listening to this and hearing this, right? You would think we're all crazy. But just look at what they're saying. Look at how the lies are so crazy, right? That's what we're dealing with, people. This is the mainstream media. This is the mainstream media we've been telling you about for years, and a lot of people don't realize it, but I think this case has let people realize these people don't care about media and truth. Only thing they care about is feeding you lies so you can believe what we tell you. This guy's won his case. He's won a defamation case, which is extremely hard. We all say it's extremely hard to win. And look what she's saying. Unbelievable.
Mockery of Heard, the humiliation of Heard, that has gone from TikTok, where you have all kinds of people, including celebrities, performing reenactments of her court testimony, to Saturday Night Live, mocking one of the most degrading allegations against her. Online, there's just an absolute explosion of hatred.
Now, she even got to Saturday Night Live. So, listen to what she's saying.
Being one of the most degrading allegations against her, live mocking one of the most degrading allegations, to celebrities performing reenactments of her court testimony, to Saturday Night Live, mocking one of the most degrading allegations against her. Online, there's just an absolute explosion of hatred.
Now, I do want to mention, she mentioned SNL specifically. SNL was very careful. They mocked the poop in the bed. And why did they mock the poop in the bed? Well, she admitted there was poop in the bed, right? She said it was a dog. Someone said it was her. Remember the driver was like, they admitted it, right? So the poop in the bed, they mocked. But so what? Right? She admitted she pooped. Well, she didn't admit she pooped in the bed, but she admitted there was poop in the bed. So they made fun of it. But now it's Saturday Night Live now is anti-Me Too. And so they're trying to throw their own company under the bus a little bit. But that's not what happened. I don't know. It's wild, because if you didn't watch the trial, you would be so confused about why the hell he won. It's sad. But don't forget, if they can do this to him, who's got millions of dollars, we ain't got no hope.
Directed at this one woman, sort of as a proxy for many people's frustrations with the Me Too movement.
I actually want to drill down on what you just said there, using this particular case as a proxy, because if you go into the facts of this, it's actually not as murky as the internet would make you believe it is. Because
hold on, the internet's not saying it's murky. Is anybody out there saying this case is murky? I don't think there's anybody in the media saying this case is murky, right? We're not saying that. I don't know. Is anybody saying that? We're saying it's clear, right? Everybody who I talk to, we say it's clear. It's absolutely clear. Amber Heard's a liar, right? It's clear from the evidence. Now she's trying to say, it's murky. It's murky. No. We're not stupid now. It's not murky. That's why he won, right? He won because it was absolutely clear. She's the abuser. She's a liar. No doubt about it. Now, if you want to say whether he abused her and all that, that may be the murky part, but at the end of the day, the jury said that didn't happen. We don't believe anything she said because she's lied to us so many times. We only believe Johnny. He said he didn't do it. So that's the only person we can believe, right? The only person that we haven't got evidence that he clearly lied. So again, you see how she's trying to play the game, right? The internet says everything is murky, but it's not. No, the internet's saying everything is clear. You're the one trying to make things murky. Don't try to play games.
As you said, on TikTok and also trending almost every day, there's some sort of pro Johnny Depp hashtag that is trending on Twitter and online. Speak to that piece that you just mentioned about just the fact that she's not the perfect victim, so she's the perfect proxy for this fight, because if you were to defend her with the full weight of the Me Too movement, you then have to defend everything she's ever done, and some of the facts are not perfect, I should say.
So this is the second part of their we're going to defend Amber Heard. She's not the perfect victim, right? She's not the perfect victim. Let's explain this perfect victim thing. Amber is not a victim at all, you idiot. Amber is not a victim. She's the perpetrator. She cut the guy's finger off. She's on tape saying, I kicked the door in his face. I punched him. Well, I didn't punch him. I didn't punch you. I didn't deck you. I hit you, right? She's on tape. Every person testified in this trial who saw the abuse Everybody, even her sister, said, yeah, Amber punched Johnny. The situation, she's lying about the story, but she said, yeah, Amber punched Johnny. She's telling everybody Amber beat her up, right? Amber beats up Johnny. Amber beats up her sister. Or everybody who's there says, yes, we saw it. Her doctor, everybody says, yeah, she's beating up Johnny. And this woman is saying Amber's the victim. And what world do these people live in? And think about this. The only reason why this idiot is saying Amber, this is an idiot. The only reason why this idiot's saying Amber is a victim is because she wants to lie to you. She wants you to believe Amber's a victim so she can continue to make more money. So she can continue to go out there and say, all women are victims, right? The evidence doesn't matter because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to work around the evidence. But they can't because we saw it. That's the beautiful part of streaming these trials. We can see it for ourselves. You can't lie to us. Stop lying to us. We know you're lying. And this isn't helping. This just isn't helping.
Right. And they actually rarely are. I mean, I think some of us thought that one of the lessons was.
At the end, Johnny isn't the perfect victim. Johnny Depp isn't the perfect victim. Amber Heard is the abuser.
Of Me Too was that there are no perfect victims. In this case, look, she is on tape saying, talking about hitting him. She, sort of mocks and belittles him. There's some question about she promised to donate the proceeds from her divorce settlement to charity. She donated a lot of it. There's some question about the.
What? Did you hear what she just said? Did you guys just hear that? How is this a news organization? She donated a lot of it. She didn't donate anything. Like $100,000. It was other people who donated it. She said she's going to give $7 million. She didn't even give $1 million. What is she talking about? Listen. Did I just hear that? Let me rewind that. I got to listen to these videos before. Let me listen to this. Okay, let me go back.
Talking about hitting him.
All right,
she, sort of mocks and belittles him. There's some question about she promised to donate the proceeds from her divorce settlement to charity. She donated a lot of it. There's some question about the rest of it. She says, I think defensively, that she halted the donations when he sued her for $50 million. But nevertheless, there's things.
Wow. Did you guys just hear that? This woman is just straight up lying for Amber Heard. Wow. Yo. She just literally said Amber Heard paid most of the money. Amber Heard even said she didn't pay most of the money. Wow. And the one thing I think you guys don't even realize is that Amber Heard got in a stand and said she didn't pay most of the money. She said because she got sued, and then remember it came out, well, you got the money a year before you got sued. She got the money 1 year before. And she didn't say she was paying the money. She said she had paid it. I donated it all. And this woman is saying, yeah, she donated most of it. And there was some issue about her whether she donated it or not, but she gave her most of it and they tried to make a big deal out of it. Wow. Is this gaslighting? This is officially, they're trying to gaslight us. But I keep coming back to the same thing. Just imagine you heard nothing about the trial. Imagine you heard nothing about this trial. Imagine. And you're hearing this. This woman is just a goddamn liar. I'm saying it. Ma'am, you are a liar. Objection. Liar. This is troubling. And this is under the banner of MSNBC? Wow.
Things that are on the record that at least show that she was, either retaliating or in some instances was picking a fight with him. I think there's also a lot of evidence that he was abusive towards her. But, for men's rights groups, especially, who've been saying that men are often the victim of domestic violence, and men can be the victims of domestic violence. But I think in this case, it just defies logic when you look at who has the power in this relationship.
So they're trying to get us to, again, forget about everything we saw, right? There's all this evidence that Johnny was the abuser. You say, what's the evidence? Show us the evidence, right? Her testimony, which she said. We heard it. We didn't believe her. Oh, well, this picture. Well, What about these pictures, right? What they're trying to do is evidence has to be evaluated against everything else, right? So if you put a piece of evidence out that says, look, this is the evidence I was abused, but then I show you a piece of evidence that says, well, not really, because here's something that shows that that's not true. You evaluate it. Let's talk about, let me give you an example in the Johnny Depp case. She initially said that she had her back. So she goes up there and testifies, Amber Heard. Yes, my back, he stomped on my back and I had bruises all on my back and I was worried because my back was all bruised up. Right? So that's the evidence that they put forward to show Amber Heard was abused. Then you have the evidence on the other side come up and say, well, here's a picture of you the next day in a backless dress. Do you believe what she said or do you believe what you see? Amber Heard, he broke my nose twice. Okay. Did you go to the hospital? No. Did you go see a doctor? Yes. Okay, so what did the doctor and the nurse say? Evidence on the other side. Nurse says, no bruises, no injuries. Doctor says, no bruises, no injuries. Everyone says, no broken nose. Who do you believe? Do you believe her? Do you believe him? She says, my nose is broken repeatedly. Had you ever go to a doctor that said you had a broken nose? No. Interesting. You were beaten with bottles and dragged over glass, stomped, beat with poles, and were bruised up horribly so, right? That's what her testimony was on day one. Day two, you're at a movie premiere and your face looks more than fine. This is, so what they're saying is all that evidence to show that she was lying, ignore it. All the evidence that says she was staying, so we're supposed to ignore all that evidence she's lying and just accept all the evidence that she's telling the truth. She's not comparing the evidence. She's just saying we had some. So because she had one piece of evidence, believe her. And all the evidence that says this, that says the other thing, all the evidence that shows that she's lying, discount that because we have one little piece of evidence, her own testimony. That's what they're trying to sell to us.
And you see, you've seen memes with Johnny Depp with tape over his mouth that says "Believe all women." Believe all women was never the slogan. It was believe women as a rule, not that there are no women who lie. But
do you? This woman is probably a lawyer. We got to listen to this again. All right. Did you go to this BS? All right, so. Believe all women is not it, right? Don't believe all women. Believe all women should be the rule. That's exactly what you're saying. You're saying the same thing, but you're saying it differently, right? And what is this he's saying? Well, we're not saying believe all women. We just said believe all women is the rule. What? You're saying believe all women, and you're just saying it a different way, you idiot. But if believe all women is the rule, then that's what you're saying. Believe all women. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? That's what she's saying, right? She's saying, believe all women. And they're saying, okay, well, that's not right. Well, no, we're not saying believe all women. We're just saying believe all women should be the rule or is the rule. What? Who's, what? No, that's, you can't have it both ways. Either it's the rule or we shouldn't just believe all women. We should believe facts and evidence. Does it make sense to anybody? Did she just say that? Did she just say, it's never been believe all women. It's just believe women should be the rule. And I do want to make this point. This thing should have never been about believe women. It should be about believe victims because victims come in any gender, right? Men, women. Now it's true that men are generally the perpetrators, in most cases, but there are cases where they're not, like the Johnny Depp case. So believe women should have never been. It should be victims should be believed. And above that, we should also believe facts and evidence, right? Facts and evidence should be believed over anyone else's testimony. If their testimony aligns with facts and evidence, then you believe them. But first, yes, you believe victims. And then you test their stories and see what the evidence says. And that's what we did here. We believed Amber Heard. Think about this, people. And I think this is the top point here. Amber Heard was believed. Right? Amber Heard was believed. I believed her. I think most people in this chat believed her. Right? She was believed. She was believed to the point where he lost all his jobs. He lost his career. He lost the trial in the UK. She was believed all the way through. And when do we stop believing her? Because the facts and the evidence showed us that she was lying. That's the way it should be.
It was believe women as a rule, not that there are no women who lie. But yeah, she has become, almost this.
I'm sorry, guys. I got to hear this again.
Over his mouth that says "believe all women." Believe all women was never the slogan. It was believe women as a rule, not that there are no women who lie. But yeah,
believe all women was never the slogan. Who does she think she's fooling? Of course, it was a slogan, but now it's not believe all women. Believing women should be the. She's saying the same thing. My God, this is crazy.
She's become, almost this. It's almost like a sort of medieval anti-witch frenzy.
Anti-witch frenzy.
No, it's really, it's disturbing actually to watch in real time, and I'm so grateful for this piece because I want to talk about what's happening in real time. You mentioned the fact that there's a power dynamic. One of the details that people are just skipping over, and I'm not sure why. Johnny Depp has a bodyguard. Johnny Depp has security that testified at this particular trial about violence committed against Johnny Depp by Amber. So, I don't have a bodyguard. Do you, Michelle? So talk about the fact that there are details in terms of just the power dynamic at play. If you're talking about a famous millionaire actor who has a bodyguard, Amber, from her perspective, how much in danger is Johnny really if he has a giant bodyguard here with us?
Wow. Did she just say that? Did she just say that? I gotta listen to that again. This is the most, I think, sexist thing that anyone can say. Because she's saying because he has bodyguards. And Amber does have bodyguards too. But just because he has a bodyguard, that means that he can't be abused by Amber? I think that's what she's trying to sell. Let me play this again, because that question it's not registering right.
Particular trial about violence committed against Johnny Depp by Amber. So, I don't have a bodyguard. Do you, Michelle?
No, we don't have bodyguards.
Talk about the fact that there are details in terms of just the power dynamic at play. If you're talking about a famous millionaire actor who has a bodyguard, Amber, from her perspective, how much in danger is Johnny really if he has a giant bodyguard here with us?
How much in danger is he when he has a giant bodyguard with him? Well, if you watch the trial, right? If you, idiot, watched the trial, you would have heard the testimony of the bodyguards. The bodyguards that were saying when they were behind closed doors and she's beating his behind and he's calling them in, help, bring her, and they dragging her off of him. It should make you think, What about when the bodyguard was there and he said, yeah, I was there when she decked him in the face, right? She punched him right in front of me, right? I was there, right? That's what the bodyguards testified to. So everybody who saw her being physical because they were there, she's just now saying, well, since Johnny Depp has a bodyguard, he couldn't be abused. He's lying about being hit because the bodyguards are going to protect him 24/7 from his wife. So even when they're in the room together in bed, there's a bodyguard standing above the bed. And if Amber Heard starts swinging on Johnny, he's there to stop him. Oh, there's a big bodyguard there to stop him. What is she talking about? So let's just give her argument the fair gist it deserves. She's saying because Johnny Depp has a bodyguard, Amber Heard couldn't have abused him. And that's the reason why we should believe Amber. Let that sink in.
Well, I think the issue is less that, he has a bodyguard who's going to protect him in his own home, and more that he has people who are whose careers are dependent on him, who are willing to testify on his behalf. So for example, his assistant, at one point after one alleged altercation, his assistant texted Amber, and I might be getting the word slightly wrong, but something to the effect of, when he heard that he kicked you, he cried, it's something like that.
So, you know what? I do love this. So remember Elaine Brennerhoff? She was going around to the morning talk shows, and she was saying that stuff too. She said they're using, now, I think this is orchestrated. I'm going to say it. They're using the same talking points that Elaine used the day before. So this was one of the talking points. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay. So she's just listening to what Elaine's saying and using the same talking point. Because Elaine said, oh, remember there was an assistant, because so everybody understands. The assistant said that Johnny said something to her, to Amber, right? So it couldn't come in because it was hearsay. It's totally unreliable, right? Totally unreliable. So now that they're trying to say is because that didn't come in, Amber lost the case, which is ridiculous. But now she's trying to say that one little, that hearsay statement that was unverified and couldn't come in because it was literally, the reason why it couldn't come in is because it was untrustworthy. That hearsay statement was untrustworthy, so they couldn't come in. So what she's saying is we should rely on an untrustworthy hearsay statement that wasn't good enough to allow into court to say Johnny Depp is an abuser. That's where they're going with this. Insane.
That, and then that assistant later said, oh, well, I was just using her words. He didn't actually really kick her.
You see? So now when the assistant says it, we should believe it. Then when the assistant comes back and says, I was just using her words. I really didn't say what I said. But again, this whole thing couldn't come in anyway because it's hearsay. She's saying we should, well, you know what? Let's not believe let's not look at the total evidence. So here's the total evidence, right? She said it and she said this, that's not good. So let's throw out this thing that she said that's not good and just believe what thing that's good for Amber. That's not how this works. We look at everything and judge it all, not just what you're telling us. Stop this. This is ridiculous.
But you have, I think the audience can decide whether or not they feel like that's a plausible explanation for a text like that. But there are just a lot of people with a lot of money riding on the Johnny Depp's reputation. And then meanwhile.
But before this trial, his reputation was done. She forgets before this trial, Johnny Depp was done. His reputation was over. Now, all of a sudden, he's got the best reputation in the world, and all these people rely on his reputation. What? No, he was just, remember, you forgot he was sued? He was literally sued. So, no, his reputation was not great. His reputation was in horrible shambles. So this is not accurate at all. And that's the reason why he sued, to get his reputation back.
There's a recording in which he just curses at her for speaking in a way that's quote unquote authoritative. So this is not somebody who was being bullied by this woman on a regular basis, right? I mean, you hear him, you see him storming around the house while she tries to placate him in this one video. This isn't someone who's afraid of standing up to his much younger, smaller, poorer wife.
Wow. Do you guys hear this gaslighting? This is insane. You know how bad this is? If you'd have told me, if you'd have sat me down and said, hey, Nate, the mainstream media is going to say these things. Was that what this woman just said? After watching 7 weeks of trial, she's going to say that. And I would have looked and I would have said, nah, she can't say that. That's who's come on. She watched the trial. No, nobody's going to say something like that. That's exactly what she said. The poor, weaker, vulnerable Amber Heard versus the powerful Johnny Depp. This woman didn't watch any of the trial. And it's just, I'm assuming she doesn't care about the truth. This woman doesn't care. She absolutely doesn't care. All she wants to do is convince as many people as possible that Johnny Depp is an abuser, and is cherry picking as many facts as possible. It's almost embarrassing. It's almost embarrassing to say. I didn't even think this video would make me so emotional, but it's got me like really thinking, like, my God, if they're lying to me about this, something that is obviously something like this, what else could they be lying to me about? All right? They're lying. It could be everything. So let's get to the end of this one.
The other thing I should mention is that, intimate partner violence is happening not just with famous people, but with people in your life that you know. And the way that you're responding and acting and commenting on this high-profile trial, all the survivors in your family, in your life, they're deciding in this moment whether or not they're going to talk to you about what's happened to them. And it makes me sad because a lot of people are not showing their best selves right now. Michelle Goldberg, thank you so much.
So their last emotional plea to us all. If you don't believe Amber Heard, there's going to be some person in your family that's dealt with this type of trauma. And since you don't believe Amber, they're not going to give you a chance to believe them. That was disgusting. What she just said was disgusting. She's literally trying to use other victims to make us feel sad about not believing this liar. That's as disgusting as it gets, right? This woman has she doesn't have any morals about this thing. To throw that out, to say because Amber, who's obviously lying, who everybody believes is lying, who everybody kind of knows is lying, because you don't believe them, then somebody who has actually had this is not going to trust you. That's disgusting. That's disgusting, right? Because it's not about, and I keep saying this is not about victims of abuse. This is about a liar who was exposed. This is not about a victim of abuse who was not believed. She was believed. If you're a victim of abuse and you tell your story like Amber Heard did, they believed her. They believed her all the way till the verdict. And then now we do not. And what changed our minds was facts and evidence. What she just said was disgusting. But you know what? She's going to keep her job. She's going to be on MSNBC tomorrow. You know, it's all good for her. It's all good for her. She don't got anything to worry about.